All right, guys. Denise has driven all the way from the Bay Area to allow us to work on her vehicle.
Absolutely.
This is amazing. And not only that, she is our $2,500 winner that we did. And when I made the phone call to you, it was amazing.
That was great.
Like, just to hear it in your voice, I mean, just made me melt. Like,
Well,
it was...
I mean, you literally put me a year ahead on anything I want to do with that truck.
How did you find us?
How did I find you? Okay, so when I got this truck a year ago, automatically I'm going to do everything to it, you know. So I'm a researcher, you know. I'm going to be online and I'm going to find the best of everything. Everything I learned, everything I researched, it just kept coming back to Westcott. That's where the cards fell. And I wasn't going to let anybody touch my truck. Like with your products, I'm coming here. That was just not even an option.
So you brought the car in.
Yeah.
We're going to get started on it.
Yeah.
And you were a firefighter, right?
Yeah, career firefighter.
Wow.
And a river guide.
Wow.
So I had a great run.
So then, it makes it that much better. Like, to call you up and tell you that you won the $2,500 and the excitement and that you're a firefighter, a retired firefighter, I mean, that makes it super special.
And I shared with you, I got some physical challenges just from the life I led.
Yeah.
So this vehicle is, rather than ultralight backpacking, which is my passion, I have to kind of find different ways to get in the wilderness. And this is going to be my wheelchair into the wilderness, really. And just the connection here and the passion, every single person that works here. You know, Brian's just been a dream. You know, you're a call away. I mean, I feel so taken care of.
Well, and it was exciting when you texted me that you were coming. I obviously feel like this place is always going in different directions. I know now that you're here.
Yeah.
Would you mind taking some time to walk through the shop and just show you around and just show you how everything we do here happens?
Yes.
The behind the scenes stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go do it. So this shop has been a lot of different shops. It started out as our lift shop and our manufacturing facility. And it was very congested after the first year.
Oh, I can bet. Outgrew it fast.
Very fast. I didn't even have enough money to buy a tire balancer and mounter. I literally had to take all the wheels and tires in the back of my truck down to Discount Tire, and they would mount and balance the wheels and tires down there. And then I would get in here and I would work on the cars on jack stands. And then when I'd work on them in jack stands, when they would call me and tell me they're ready, I would then come one at a time and pick up the tires and put them on the cars that were here in the shop. So that was kind of how,
humble beginnings.
One of my favorite things is actually polishing the floor.
You'd make a great firefighter. You'd have fit right in.
I love to polish the floor.
We spray squeegee the floors, you know, and then this is
for me.
This is almost an OSHA violation.
When I see the floor, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna polish that. And then when I polish it, I'm like, oh, it looks so much better.
I've never seen anything like this. This is ridiculous.
So we're here. This is our manufacturing facility. The machine behind us is priming itself, and so that it's actually purging the air. This was one of our first pieces of big equipment that we bought. This is our robotic welder. This is our first laser we bought. Less expensive than our new laser, but it really helped us to get through the first 3.5 years of business with it, making our own parts, designing our own parts. So it is our table laser, and it's also our tube laser over here that cuts our tubing. So now we use it for small parts and prototyping. It's called a 3K fiber laser, so it works good for the smaller parts. This laser here is fully automated. We load it with as much material as we want, and it'll run until it runs out of material. And you don't have to sit by it, you have to stand by it. It literally runs. It actually diagnoses if it has a problem, it diagnoses what the problem is, and it'll continue moving forward. It allows us to make new parts, design new parts, and it allows us to even manufacture other companies' parts that are actually in our product space. All of our tubing comes in like this. It has scaling on it, oily substance. And that oil substance is so it doesn't rust when it's sitting outside. So what we do is we take that tubing and we run it through this machine here, and we polish every piece of tubing before we ever even cut it in the laser. We do it for a couple reasons, because that oily substance, if you just clean it back to a certain point, as you heat that piece of tubing, it pulls that oil back into the weld. So it contaminates the weld. It contaminates it and doesn't make the weld as strong or look as good. And our guys that work here, they do not want to work with anything unless it's the best for them in this, and when they're building something.
I think this makes a difference. The process makes a difference.
Does it take extra time? Absolutely it does. But at the same time, we just know that the finished product is going to be that much nicer when we finish it. And then after we're done, we then we run it over to here. And this is our tube, our laser, our tube laser. And the tubing goes in there, and then it comes back out, and it has cut all the pieces for us. So then that then goes over into the bending area. This is how a part comes off the laser. And you can see the kind of little marks in here and in here and stuff like that. It does have grain because we buy it grain. And then you see here, you can see the marks. So what we do is we put everything on this conveyor belt here. We run it through this here. It's called a time saver or a grainer. And so what it does is it puts a nice grain finish on everything.
Oh, okay.
So you can see there's no more imperfections here. We actually, do we really need to do the backside? No. But we take those steps to do the front and the back. You never know who's gonna see it. And plus, we don't know how it's gonna be coated, if it's gonna be natural or what, but that's how it comes out.
It gives you
and then you can see that's actually the new Tacoma.
I like it.
Yeah, so that goes through here. And as it goes through here, you can actually see it come through here when it goes through here, and then it comes out on the conveyor belt on the other side. And then from here it goes over to the bender, which is just over here on the other side. And then they've also been through, like, we have a tumbler that we tumble to make all the edges nice on them. So everything gets laid out here, and then all the drawings for each one of the parts is laid here. So then they put their coordinates inside the machine over here, and then it has across here the beam. So we bend everything, so it always has the exact same bend. It knows the thickness, it knows how much to bend it, it knows where to stop, and then it's got a backstop in it, so it knows exactly where to put the bend to make sure the bend's consistent every single time. So you can hear the guys behind us.
Yeah.
That's our welding department. Getting assembled here, and then it goes on these racks, and from here it goes to complete assembly. You can see the welds on here, and this is our TIG weld here. And people say, hey, why would somebody do this? And it's do a TIG weld. It makes it stronger. It's basically welding it twice. You weld it once, then you go back over and you weld it again. And I'll take you over and I'll share that with you.
Okay.
Now we're back in the welding area.
Right.
There's 11 guys that work back here full time, and they all specialize in different areas of welding. Some of them are TIG welders, some are MIG welders, some of them actually TIG and MIG very well. But we only use those guys in those areas that specialize in weld at that level that we are good with, you know, the quality that we're looking for. We interview a ton of guys. We probably interviewed for a while, like 30 guys a month.
I saw an ad for a while. You're looking for good
we only would
welders.
sometimes only end up with one of them. So that's the level these guys are. Everything's built in fixtures, and that's so we don't get any kind of movement or changing or warping or anything like that when we build these things. And so we can check them and make sure the consistency stays like that time after time. This machine is so sophisticated and so smart. It has artificial intelligence, so it actually learns as it goes. And then on top of that, it'll change the gas on its own to figure out which gas works the best to do the best cut and the quickest. And on top of that, it'll also even clean the tip off every single time it feels that it's slowing down. So this is our CNC shop. We've got mill or a lathe here, and 2 mills, and we're expanding. We're moving this, actually, we just got the building next door, and all of our equipment's getting moved over there, and then we have more machines on their way. Man. This is where we make all of our lift kits. And then everything in these barrels, we recycle everying.
I know, I see the scrap from the lathe.
They literally come every 2 days to recycle because we fill the bins up so quickly. So I'll take you out into actually shipping and receiving. So it all goes from here and goes either into shipping and receiving, or it leaves from here and goes to anodized. We process orders as fast as we can. They come and pick up in the morning, and then they pick up again in the afternoon, but it's just because we fill the truck twice, and so that's why they come in. So we process as much of this stuff as we possibly can. So these are roof rack assemblies, these are bracket assemblies for the roof racks, these are bed stiffeners, these are visors. So all this works its way to the back. It starts up here, gets stocked on the shelf here, and then works its way out the back door. So this here are all screws. These are all scales. So every one of these are sitting on a scale. So there's a sensor on the top that tells
inventory control?
Inventory control. And on top of inventory control, when we start to get low, it lets the company know to start sending the parts when we get to a certain weight.
Smart inventory system.
So it really works well. So here's another great thing to show you. The boxes right here. Those are afternoon orders. So the morning orders have already gone out. Those are the orders that will go out this afternoon. We'll walk in here, powder coat. It's very loud over here.
Okay.
It's messy.
Okay.
It's the messiest part of the business.
Okay.
But you can just see the volume that goes through here. So this is coming into powder coat out of shipping and receiving. But as you can see, everything is designed to get powder coated, go into shipping and receiving, less handling,
yes.
and then into the boxes. We basically do is we inspect it, we look it all over, we make sure that there's no imperfections or flaws on it. He'll even wear a headlamp when he's checking stuff just to make sure. There's a lot of stuff that does not pass our inspection that made it all the way this far, but it's not to the level we want it to be. But that's where it goes, and then it'll get boxed. This is actually stuff that hasn't passed our inspection sitting here.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's why it's actually sitting here. And then we'll reprocess it again with whatever we have to do to fix it or make it good. And so we sandblast in this booth. We do small parts in this little area over here, and then we spray it over here, and then our oven is up there. We're actually, like I said, we got a new building. So we're gonna be moving some stuff around in here, and then we're gonna move some stuff around next door. And that's gonna allow us, we're gonna be putting a 25-foot oven in. We have a 15-foot oven right now. We're gonna put a 25-foot, so it allows us to double up our capacity.
Is there something about your primer too that?
We do, we primer coat everything steel.
Yeah.
It's called an etching primer. So not only do we sandblast it, but we adhesion for that etching primer. And some people say, why don't you offer it like that? Because it's so beautiful, even with the etching primer. But it's not how we designed our stuff to be, so we don't do it that way. So those are Refract inserts that are getting done right now. So that's your bumper.
Seriously? That's my bumper?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
yeah,
he's already primed it. He's coating it right now.
That's
so he sprays
cool.
the powder on it here. It uses a positive and a negative charge on it to adhese it to there. And then from here, it'll go into the oven and it'll bake for about 45 minutes.
Thank you.
And then some of the brackets here are some of the brackets for that.
Oh yeah.
Well. Yep. So this is right now our will call for local pickups. The larger parts go up front here. The small lift kits go in the back at the back door. But this is where we stage everything for pickup. So if they call in that day, we get it ready up here that they would like to come pick it up. So these are all orders that'll be picked up today.
That's a good option, you know, especially for locals.
And like I said, we have so much local pickup, but staging it and getting it ready for pickup, we want to get to the point where we can have that whole room next door that the CNC shop was in, have it all laid out, so all their stuff just goes up into that room and makes it much nicer, and have a nice little showroom up there for them, and their stuff's laid out, and the presentation actually is very good up there as well. So it's nice that we do get the support from the locals like we do.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people say, hey, got to get back to the local people and, you know, local companies, you know, support them and stuff. And we're very blessed to have that as well. And like yourself, you come from a long way, so we love them. Long ways, local, whatever. Come on, Jackson. Jackson, I know this probably wasn't as exciting for you as it was for Grandma, but hopefully you got to see some cool stuff.
Thank you so much. This tour is just,
you bet. Thank you.
learning is just makes it even that much better too.
Well,
you know, understanding what you're getting and what it's supposed to do and why it's a certain way. It's invaluable. So,
and you know, being able to show all that to you, you know, then you get to see from start to finish, and then the fact that you got to see your bumper even
that's
get made.
crazy.
Well, not made, but powder.
That's some voodoo magic out there.
Well,
right there.
I knew it had to be somewhere in the process, so it was cool that you got to see that.
That's fun. I'm so glad I made it.
Congratulations again on winning.
Thank you.